concept of harm reduction is one that it would seem to me that public health doesn't actually understand, and yet it's something that everybody in here practices every day, whether they know it or not. Let me give you some examples and tell you why the harm reduction process is so important in all of this, and why it actually informs the notion that e-cigs are not medicines and never can be medicines. Let me tell you first why e-cigs are here. They are intended, broadly speaking, to allow the nicotine user, what we used to call a smoker, to continue nicotine use, but in a much less risky way. And that much less, by the way, is by orders of magnitude. That means a lot. Consider harm reduction that we all practice every day. Now, you might have noticed I'm not a slim boy. I'd like to be. And I used to enjoy full-fat Coke. But full-fat Coke, and I've been told to call it cola, but sod it, full-fat Coke is chock-a-block with sugar, if you believe what you're told by the campaigners. So to practice a little bit of harm reduction, and I hadn't thought of it as that, I drink Diet Coke, because I'm trying to keep the waistline under 42. It's a big waistline. So I drink Diet Coke to reduce the fattening harm, the obesity that might come from the full fat Coke. Does anybody here from Coke? I'm sorry, substitute Pepsi, whatever you like. And that's a lifestyle choice. I choose to do that for my lifestyle. I don't want to be big and fat and ugly. I'm quite happy just to be ugly. Let's go on that therefore Diet Coke is not a medicine. I'm not using it medicinally, I'm using it as a lifestyle choice. What about the parents of little Johnny? He's 8-year-old, he wants a skateboard for Christmas. So they buy him one, and skateboards are risky. So they don't have to, but they're pretty sure Johnny's going to fall off, so they get knee pads, elbow pads, body armour, helmet. Responsible parent, you may think. They are reducing the harm that's going to come to Johnny when he falls off the skateboard. Does that make the knee pads, the helmet, the body armour and everything else a medicine? Does it help? It means that they are being responsible parents and they are preventing their children from needing a medicinal intervention later on when he has fallen off the skateboard, because he's gonna. So those aren't a medicine. So let's come back to e-cigs. Their use is a lifestyle choice. Just as the safety gear helps prevent future medical intervention in the case of a skateboard accident, so e-cigs help prevent a future medical intervention for smoking-related diseases. The two are directly analogous. Neither is a medicine. And it's exactly the same that somebody who's looking after their body mass index might choose to drink Diet Cola above regular cola. And in exactly the same way, the e-cig user chooses the least risky alternative to continue doing something they were going to do anyway. Neither Diet Coke nor e-cigs are medicines. They're both lifestyle choices. So I want to hit the safety, quality and efficacy thing. And start with safety. And if we believe what anti-smoking campaigners tell us, smoking lit tobacco is probably the most risky pastime you can indulge in. Agreed?
Yeah, I can think of, I mean, like, moving car racing maybe, and it's pretty risky. Yeah.
It's pretty risky. In terms of,
it's not good. Not recommended.
It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. So just about anything would be safer for you than smoking lit tobacco. Now, there is a concept of safe enough. In my earlier example, Johnny's not 100% safe, but he's safe enough, at least as far as his parents are concerned, and probably as far as A&E's concerned as well. And that's the case with e-cigs. The concept of safe enough is one that adults deal with every day, and it should be their decision as to what is safe enough, not some authority basing its decisions on absolute safety. Now, they tell me that NRT is safe enough, and it might be, but it's bloody ineffective. I've tried it. It doesn't work. For 93% of my contemporaries, NRT is useless. Completely. It's not attractive in any way, shape or form. That's why I choose not to compare e-cigs with NRT, because these things are much more comparable to cigarettes in terms of what they will do for the smoker. And the smoker is the one that chooses what's good enough and what's safe enough. So those who practice the art of jumping out of aeroplanes wearing a parachute obviously think that's safe enough. I choose not to follow their example. Because I'm sorry, I've seen what happens when you splatter off the tarmac from 40,000 feet. It's not pretty, and I don't want to do that. But that does not give me the right to insist that other people do not do it. I don't like it, but I'm not going to stop somebody else from doing it. And I don't see why anybody should stop me from using an e-cigarette because I've chosen that lifestyle choice. It applies to e-cigs for 1.5 million users, somewhere between 1 and 1.5 million users in the UK. They're safe enough, and that at the end of the day is what matters. We already know they're orders of magnitude safer than smoked tobacco, and if the users feel they're safe enough, then that is as it should be. Next, quality. And if ever there was a subjective measurement of something's value, quality is it. Now, I know somebody that uses one of these things, right? And it's from China, and the guy I was talking to said, that's a quality piece of kit. It's not, it's rubbish. It works, but it's nowhere near the quality of that. You have no idea. You've got no idea what's in either of these things. Let me tell you, in both cases, the statements are wrong. It's not rubbish. It works. It does the job. It's just not up to a standard that I, as a Range Rover driver, would expect. You see the point? Who came on a push bike today? There you go. Now, I'm sorry, I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I'll match it. But there you go. Quality is completely subjective, and nobody can tell me what's a good enough quality for me. Nobody can tell me what's a good enough quality for my wife. I'll make do with any old rubbish, but I want the best for my wife. She makes that choice, not me. Gentlemen, you who have been to buy Christmas presents know exactly what I mean. Yes, I need go no further than that. Quality is a subjective measurement. So for any regulatory authority to say that they're going to major on quality is a complete and total and utter bloody nonsense. Finally, efficacy. Now this is a whole different can of worms. Stick your hand up here, a vaper, please. Would you now grab the device that you have been using during the course of the day and wave it in the air? Please have a look. These are what all of these different people have decided to use. And I dare bet you now that if I asked any two of them to swap, they'd say actually, no. They would say actually, no. What?
He's trying to swap this.
Charlie, I can't see what it is from there. If it was anything decent, I would swap you for this gold one. Other than that. Look, I know what's effective for me, and obviously all of these vapers in here know what's effective for them, and I tell you now for a certain fact that what's effective for one will be rubbish for another. It's a bit like Marmite. If somebody comes out with a Marmite juice, that's going to be effective for somebody that likes Marmite, but it's not going to be effective for me. If somebody comes out with a, dare I say it, custard flavoured juice, that's going to be effective for Sav, but it's not going to be effective for me. I don't like it. And at the bottom line of all of this, when it comes down to medicines regulation, you know for an absolute certain fact, because Jeremy Mean has said so, when it comes to the fateful day, everything that we've just been waving about in the air comes off the market. And we will be left with something that is, frankly, more akin to NRT than anything else. And we already know people don't want to buy NRT. It's not sexy, it's not pleasant, it's not effective, it's not nice. So on behalf of every vaper everywhere in the UK, I would say hands off our e-cigs. We know what works for us, we know what we like, we know where to buy it, we can advise the people that want to go on there, and we do, so butt the hell out. Finally, just to come on a couple of things that Martin said, and I'm not picking on you, Martin, because these are things that other people have been doing, not you specifically. this whole, your brother saying that they're bad for you, you know where that's come from? That's come from the BMA. These are people that are supposed to be looking after our health. And they've said, and they haven't contradicted when it's been said, that e-cigs are worse for you than tobacco cigarettes. When the World Health Organization said e-cigs are worse for you than tobacco cigarettes, did the BMA, who should be held in high regard, get on its hind legs and say, actually, no they're not? Did they help? They kept their mouths shut. That's not a fine state of affairs. Cancer Research UK, exactly the same. When these statements were made by the World Health Organization, that should know better. Did they argue? Did they help? They kept their mouths shut and let people like your brother believe that that was the case. It's utter rubbish, it's nonsense, and it needs stopping. How to win back vapers? Easy answer. Get onto Wetherspoons and all of these train companies and tell them they're being a set, and I'm sorry about this, of complete arseholes for banning them from their places of work and employment and everything else. These things are not dangerous. If people can use them everywhere, they'll use them everywhere. Let them use them everywhere. Finally, as you probably gathered, I don't think NRT's a medicine now either. The MHRA made that mistake. That's all I've got to say. Thank you very much.